Because I'm sure that you hearing the way that I experience life and interact with things, I'm sure that has changed your view slightly. And me interacting with you and like, you know, seeing how life really is and stuff. I'm sure that has changed my view slightly.
Yeah.
Because that's the freaking point, guys. Like that's
right.
the point. Like
you're
communicating.
Like at the end of the day, perspective is truth, right?
Yeah.
Like that's our truth. Our perspective is our truth.
Right.
But limiting yourself to only your perspective and your truth
right.
is going to limit your experience here on earth.
Right. 100%.
Like,
I like to care, but I don't know. Your words can't shake my bones. Though I'm stronger than you know. Your fire can't melt my soul. No, no.
Do a little chatting.
Yap.
Piss a few people off. A lot more than a few, probably. Everyone.
We're going to piss a lot of people off. But I think we're going to also make a lot of people happy because we're going to say what they want to say, what they're thinking. We're going to say the quiet part out loud.
If you don't find something to relate to, like, get out of here.
Get out.
Look right in the eyes. Get out.
Out. Bye.
In the shadows, I found my light. In the chaos, I found my fight.
We're excited to announce that we're partnering with GhostBed. Their mattresses are crazy comfortable and super cool, literally, thanks to their patented cooling technology. And they ship right to your door. If you're ready to level up your sleep,
head on over to ghostbed.com/unfiltered for 10% off their already insanely low prices.
Scary low. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered and Unfazed. I'm your host, Tessa.
I'm Heather.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about some narcissists today.
We are spinning off on the last episode because, it got a lot of feedback. People really, I think what happens is, so the narcissist term has been thrown around a little too loosely in this day and age.
Let me pull up the actual definition.
But I think that a lot of people can relate to it. But I do think nowadays, if you have ever known anybody, you're like, they're a narcissist, they're a narcissist, they're a narcissist. Like it is thrown around a little too much, but you'll know if they truly are a narcissist, and they still may have narcissistic qualities and not be a full-blown narcissist. Like and by that we mean narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. It's like a real thing, diagnosable. Like, so when we say narcissist, we're talking about people with those qualities, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're like a diagnosable full-blown narcissist, but so
I can say the definition. Oh, wrong thing. I can say the definition. So a narcissist is generally someone who shows patterns of self-centeredness, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. I think that lack of empathy part is the most important.
Yes.
Because the other two, like self-centeredness and a need for admiration, those are just like childish behaviors.
You could be cocky and not be a narcissist.
Exactly.
There's a lot of cocky, egotistical people out there, and they're not a narcissist. It's like you said, the lack of empathy, and it's not just like not feeling for others. It's like you could give two flying fucks about how something affects somebody else.
Yeah, like you're so caught up in your own, like worried about what's going on in your own life that you literally are not thinking about anybody that surrounds you. That's not something that crosses your mind. Like
you also put your self I'm blinking.
Self-needs, selfishness.
Self-gratification over anyone else, and that by that I mean, and a lot of times that's why narcissists cheat
or cheaters, or like
they're putting that
over
and not even concerned with how that may affect somebody else in any way, shape, or form. They are not worried about that.
So there's like a few core traits that they're saying that it is. So grandiosity is like exaggerated sense of self, importance, talking themselves up. So like, you know, that one, I feel like people, it's really hard for them to draw the line between like grandiosity and confidence.
Exactly.
I feel like those two get like misconstrued all the time.
Yeah.
Because grandiosity is like thinking you're better than other people.
Right. No matter what you do.
You have the superior thought. You have the superior point of view. Like you are the one that knows what other people are thinking. Like
self-confidence is
just
not the same
means
thing.
you know that you're good.
Right.
Like that's
or that
the
you
difference.
feel
Or you
good,
feel
about,
good
yourself.
about yourself.
You
Like
feel good in what you represent.
Right.
You feel
Like,
strong in what you're
right.
saying.
Exactly.
Like that is, I 100% agree with you. That is completely different. And like I said, even a level of cockiness doesn't mean you're a narcissist.
No,
You could still
absolutely
be
not.
like so self-confident that it's a little cocky and
Absolutely
egotistical,
not.
but still doesn't mean
Right.
you're a narcissist.
Right. And that's where I think, like, you know how we were like, a lot of people get like, they're just blatantly throwing out that term. So that's what I think. Like, I think even people who have, even like star potential people who do well at the center of attention, that are performers, that are like this kind of people, a lot of times they just get blanket statement narcissist because they're
being full of
ability to
yourself
perform. Yeah, they're like being full of yourself. It doesn't mean you're a narcissist.
Yeah.
So that like kind of ties into the other core trait of the need for admiration, constantly seeking validation, compliments, praise, like and again, just because you seek validation, that doesn't make you a narcissist.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, if you're having a bunch of these traits, like, because we're just going to go through the list. After this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And if you do struggle with all of these things, then self-reflect a little. Maybe just self-reflect.
Well, I hear a lot of women, they're like, my boyfriend cheated on me, he's a narcissist. It's
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
no, he's a womanizer. Doesn't
Exactly.
mean he's a narcissist. There's
Right.
multiple things you have to have. I think for something to be like fully diagnosed, I want to say it's like you have to have over 45% of what they call symptoms, which these are considered symptoms. They're traits, but in the medical, like psychiatric world, they call them symptoms.
Right.
So it's not like you can have one or two of these things and you're like, oh, yep, everybody's a narcissist. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone would be a narcissist.
Right. Exactly. if you just have like a couple of these things, and also these are things that, like, when you're a child, and also I don't think a child that doesn't understand right from wrong, I don't think they can be a narcissist. I don't think that, like, until somebody develops actually knowing the difference between right and wrong, I think that's when you can start to be like this and that, because a lot of these things are just how kids act.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kids are going to be like preserving, but I do think that, because I've seen people that have grown up into narcissists, I do think that the traits start young.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where a parent should be like, hey, just so you know, because self-awareness is a huge thing in mental health.
Right.
Like if you have zero accountability or self-awareness growing up, a lot of times the result's not the best.
Right.
But I do think that the traits kind of present.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you're doomed. Like, oh my God, this kid's going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the point of it. And even like, you can be a narcissist and not be harmful to people. Like that's the other thing that I think that really goes over people's head, because there are people that are genuinely diagnosed with NPD, like narcissistic personality disorder, but they know that they have it. And so they have to, just take extra steps to make sure they're not being assholes.
And that's the thing, is that part is that when people know and they face things head on, there's diagnosed narcissists that, do coaching to help other people, because the thing is it's not like one of those like schizophrenic, like where you are so unaware. Right. It's like you're aware, but you don't care.
Right.
So it's possible to be like, okay, I'm doing this because my brain works a little differently, and I need to be aware that I do not show empathy to others. So I have to, it's unfortunate, but I have to take that extra step to be like, I need to do that. Like you do have to be self-aware, and they might have to approach something differently and be like, okay, I know that I tend to do this. So I need to think about this person while I do this. Like you have to actively do it, where normal people, I hate to say normal, but like somebody who
just
doesn't
people that have empathy
will naturally do that.
Yeah,
you don't have to think about doing that.
100%.
Like I'm going to think about, how is this going to affect somebody else?
Right.
Where it's not even a thought.
Right. Exactly. So I feel like all these like lead into the next one. So entitlement, expecting special treatment or favors. The
entitlement's wild.
You can't expect people to do things for you just because you're blank. Like you can't, like people are not supposed to do things for you just because you're a woman, just because you're a man, just because you're, black, just because you're gay, just because you're trans. No, none of that. Like nobody's
owed anything.
You're not owed anything. Everyone is born into life, and they are given the life that they're given, and that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so while a lot of times people are born into what we would all consider unfair circumstances, that doesn't mean that the world owes you anything because of that. Like, it's like your parents owe you, but the rest of the world does not, you know?
I noticed that with people that are, like I said, actual narcissists or really do carry a lot of the traits. It's not like I'm going to diagnose people. One thing I do notice in that entitlement is someone specific. I recently was talking to someone and they were like, dude, I didn't call this guy back in like 5 minutes. And he was like, what's your problem? Why aren't you calling me back?
Yeah, that's weird.
And he does that with a lot of people. Like if they don't call him and text him back, like right away, he's like, why aren't you dropping everything that you're doing and responding to me what I feel is important right now?
Right.
And I'm like, that is so narcissistic. Like that is narcissistic. That is a narcissistic
trait.
And I've encountered a couple, not many, but a couple people like that.
Yeah.
Where you feel like you're physically and emotionally being attacked by someone because they're not dropping everything for you.
Yeah.
Which is
you need to address that entitlement feeling, because that's
and then
not
you're
normal.
mad. You are mad, not just like a little bit mad. Like this person gets like mad and is like gonna turn on you because you didn't call them when they wanted you to. And I'm like, whoa. I've encountered somebody like that before in a relationship, and you don't text them. You could literally have your hands full of groceries.
Yeah.
You don't text them back right away, and something that they feel is important, especially something they feel is important. They're like, 5 minutes goes by, they're like, what's up? What are you doing? Why are you not responding to me? What's your problem? And then they go down deeper and harder until they're like mad. And you're like, why are you mad? It's been like and we're not talking like 5 hours. We're talking like 5 minutes.
No, literally. Which we can go through the common things about how it shows up in relationships too. But the next one being exploitation of others. So
that's a very interesting one.
This is where the traits start. Arrogance is one of them as well. I just want to blend that in because I feel like arrogance and grandiosity like hold each other's hands. So we don't have to like super go into the arrogance of it. But the exploitation of others,
massive.
Using people for personal gain without guilt.
Without guilt.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Without guilt. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is without guilt, because people can do that and people do it all the time, but then they're like, God, I feel bad. Like Tyler has said multiple times, like on some of the episodes that they've done, like he's like, he'd come home and he's just like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's people that will, and like you said, even in relationships, like boyfriend and girlfriend, like somebody pisses them off. Guess what? They're going to post all about it. They're going to say what a piece of shit they are.
Right.
They're going to make sure they go delete all their pictures. Right. Like they have to exploit the situation
exactly
as hard as they can.
Right.
And it's like, it almost makes them feel good.
Exactly. And that's why I started shutting up. Yep. Because I realized that I had been exploiting.
Oh, I've done it.
No, yeah. It's something that we all struggle with. Yeah. And also something that is like exploitations of others for personal gain without guilt. That also goes for if you have a sugar daddy, you are exploiting that man. He may be exploiting you too, but you're doing it back, or woman, whatever. There's just less women sugar daddies, you know.
Yeah. Sugar mamas, they call them.
that is exploitation. Using people to get into parties, you know, only being friends with someone for the amount of social media following they have.
Yeah.
That's exploiting someone for what they have. Like, so it's you really need to start thinking about these things, like, especially because like, and I'm not sitting here trying to like call someone out specifically. No. I'm just saying like there's a lot of traits, and especially like, I hate to say this, but like the younger generation coming up because of social media, I feel like struggles with a lot of these things.
Oh yeah.
Because it's always just shoved in their face.
Well, and the exploitation, I mean, I've even been seeing it with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of people that daily,
yeah,
not just once or twice, and I get it when it was fresh, and I'm not saying we should be quiet about it, and there are things that should be talked about 100%, but the exploitation of doing it excessively to get likes and clicks and posting constantly about like the
Yeah.
security guard scratching his head in the background and
Yeah.
and you're doing it like every day and you're
Right.
really exploiting the situation and
Yeah.
you know those are getting like millions of views. It's
right.
like,
And you're getting
all
money
right.
from it. Like, that's the thing. Like,
it's like now you're exploiting this. You went from sharing knowledge,
Right.
sharing information, sharing truth to exploitation.
right. Exactly. And I already hear people being like, oh, well, then is going to your job exploiting your boss? No. And here's why. You both mutually signed up
Yeah.
to know that I'm working in exchange for money. That's not exploiting somebody. Working in exchange for money.
I just
is
heard
not
all the
exploiting
like
someone.
sugar babies go, but so am
But
I.
so am I. And I'm like, no.
So am I.
Because you
I'm
don't
working.
care. Do you care about that man? If you do, I'll shut my mouth. But I know for a fact
You don't.
most of you don't. There might be one or two
they don't care about you,
that
no
think
matter
of him
what
as
they
a
say.
grandpa now. But my grandpa never asked to see me naked.
Gross.
So, I'll say that.
I will say, I think that one is subjective. Like we said, I think there is not the sugar baby thing.
Yeah.
People are like,
Oh,
whoa.
You're like,
Not
that's-
that, just the exploitation of others.
Yeah,
because
exploitation,
That's subjective, I think, on
Yeah.
the intentions of that person.
Yeah, it has to be for personal gain.
As we always say,
Yeah.
intention
Yeah.
matters.
It does so
And,
much.
I think that there are people out there that
Mm-hmm.
specifically want to use somebody to exploit them for their own gain.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the key point is and feel no guilt about it.
Right.
That's the crazy part
Yeah,
is when
so-
they're like, I could literally care less what this does to this person. And I know for a fact,
Right.
nobody in this room feels that way. I know for a fact, nobody I know personally that I have in my life feel that way. They
Yeah.
would never really truly want someone's like downfall and
Yeah.
or something bad to happen to somebody because of their own personal gain.
Right.
Like
100%.
that's crazy work.
No, and that the next one is lack of empathy, but we've already talked a lot
Yeah.
about that. And then so the last one, besides arrogance, is envy. And
Interesting.
it's like being envious of others and then also assuming that others are envious of you. Right. And so like again, there's a difference between making jokes and being like, oh yeah, I bet they're just jealous, and genuinely feeling that way.
Now, also, that's a good point. When
Yeah.
we talk about these symptoms,
Right.
they're extreme. It's
Yeah.
not somebody going, oh my gosh, I love her hair. I wish I had it.
Right.
Like, those are normal human qualities. It's
Right.
someone being like,
It's
I
like when you
despise that
obsess
person
over it, or when you-
because
yeah.
I want their hair and I don't have it. And I
Exactly.
literally hope they go die because of it.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about like it's extreme.
Yeah.
And again, the person that I know that I was with in my past that was like that
Mm-hmm.
would do that. They would say they really wanted this is a true story. They really wanted a motorcycle. They
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really wanted like a Harley. Every person they saw with a Harley, they'd be like, look at that stupid asshole. Like it was like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they hated them for
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, who cares?
Well,
Like,
hate is very close to love. So,
right.
Yeah.
And envy is obviously
yeah.
you have that emotion and passion. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, I really want that. It was like they
Yeah.
really kind of hated that person for having what they wanted.
Yeah. And I think it can be in the opposite of like being obsessed.
Oh, yeah.
Like the love, the extreme crazy, like you're watching everything somebody's doing because you want to be just like them.
Right.
That's like, I want my life to be just like this person's life, or I want, like I think that is like a dangerous slope to get into as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah,
So again, you have to have most of those qualities, and they have to be extreme. So when we say
no, I actually
narcissist,
think you
like,
have to have all of them.
I think for diagnosis from like a doctor,
Yeah.
from what I was told by my old therapist, who diagnosed, she was well enough into, because not all therapists can diagnose. A lot of times it requires a psychiatrist, but you don't have to. If you have enough education, she was able to diagnose. She was not able to prescribe medication. But I know that she said, if you want to, you might be able to look it up. She said there is a guideline, and it does not have to be all symptoms, but it has to be a percentage of any given symptoms. Because sometimes if you look even further into narcissism, they can list like 50 things. And they'll list in more detail. They'll say like one of the symptoms for like BPD is like driving fast when you're angry. And that sounds crazy because it sounds uber specific. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean drive? But it's a very common symptom that they have where they drive erratic when they're upset, and they drive erratic purposely when people are in the car with them.
At least 5 of the 9.
5. Okay. So that's a little over 50%.
Yeah. And
I do believe it is different for each.
Yeah, I can just go through and read what the 9 are really quickly, because it's different than like the core traits. It's like actual like things.
Right.
So
okay, it goes in a little more.
Yeah, this is the 9 possible criteria listed in the DSM-5. So
okay.
So
for
and
NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. Okay.
And I will just put out the disclaimer: there are, psychologists and therapists and whatever people in the mental health field that some people do disagree with the DSM-5. However, it is the most basic core standard that most people.
And again, there are things that do
from,
matter in subjectiveness and the whole picture, and there are things that matter in diagnosis.
Right.
But and again, we are not giving out medical advice, information.
No, I'm reading from ChatGPT,
so
guys. You
don't be diagnosing yourself. Go see a doctor, because narcissistic personality disorder can become very abusive and toxic to others and yourself. So go talk to somebody.
So the 9 are grandiose self of importance, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, beauty, brilliance, or ideal love. Belief that they are special and can only be understood by or associated with other high status people. Requires excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, interpersonally exploitive, takes advantage of others. We said that. Lacks empathy, envious of others, shows arrogant or haughty behaviors or attitudes. And what is haughty for some people that don't know? It's just like, those people that like when you walk in a room, they just act like they're better than you. That's haughty.
It's also in the Bible, and it is the one thing not the one thing, but something that very majorly God is very disgusted by.
So these are the things. If someone meets 5 or more and it causes significant problems in their life or relationships, they may qualify for a diagnosis.
Right. There's the extreme part. It's not just like you have a couple of these things, you mildly do them here and there. It's typically something pretty extreme, and it affects your life and others.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we just really wanted to like clarify as to what we were talking about specifically meaning narcissist, because this is not like, me and Heather are not hearing this information for the first time right now. That's a surprise to you guys.
Believe it or not, me and Tessa, as usual, have experienced narcissism from a diagnosed, not us, but diagnosed narcissism that led us to do even more research into it, because you are left confused, you're left scared, you're left feeling worthless when you are dealing with someone like that. So typically you tend to go try to find answers. And I spent a lot of time finding answers.
Well, so something that I will say so I can distinguish between what's a narcissist and what's narcissistic traits. So my ex that I dealt with, narcissistic traits, not narcissist.
No, you don't think he's okay?
No, because the guilt.
There's
only
empathy.
because there's empathy. That's like the number one thing.
However, and don't be fooled by fake empathy and fake guilt,
not
because there's a lot of crying.
There's a big difference
that goes on. I dealt with a real narcissist that 100% did not feel guilt, but would cry.
Me too.
I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That's the only reason that
and
I
of
can
course
tell
at the time I felt bad. I was like, oh my God. And they're on the fucking floor, crying, flailing on their knees. And you're like, whoa, this person must really feel bad. And then within an hour, we'll be doing the same things.
Well, and that's the reason that I know the difference is because I've also, but the real narcissist, as we talked about last week, was my mom, is my mother, my mom. And it's crazy because someone was talking to me the other day and having a conversation about how, like, when you're dealing with an addict, like, because I have expertise, I would consider myself an expert at least 20 years, so most professionals would be considered an expert after 20 years.
We're professionals.
And so they asked me, has she ever apologized for her behavior and like meant it or anything? And I said, well, I've heard apologies like, oh, well, I'm sorry that I'm just a piece of shit.
There you go.
I'm sorry that I'm a bad mom. I'm sorry that I couldn't be a good person for you. I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yep. I've never gotten a true, and I do genuinely think that, like, my mom is missing that empathy. I think it's not there. I think the empathy I do not think it exists in her brain.
No.
Like feeling bad, like after everything has gotten ripped away from you and you no longer have contact with anyone and like, you know, you're just living your life and doing whatever, like, you know, it's just crazy because you can feel sad, but like the rest of the things never go away. Like you still think like my mom literally is still on drugs, living in the middle of nowhere on like a farm, kind of
Right.
like in the barn of a farm. I'm not joking. In the barn of a farm. And she still thinks she's better than people.
Right.
Like, that's what I mean. She genuinely thinks that she is better than everyone in her family. I am not exaggerating. She genuinely thinks that they like that her shit doesn't sting. I'm like, listen, you haven't seen any of your kids in like 10 years.
Right.
Okay.
You live in a barn.
You live in a barn.
Literally.
And you're mean. And you're very mean. And so I'm like, listen, I understand that there are definitely people in her family that suck. Yeah, because they're in my family too. And yeah, I'll confirm they do suck. But to blanketly just be like, well, they can all kiss my ass. That's a lot.
Well,
you know?
I do agree. I think that there are people like that that think, and the lack of empathy is like, you will also leave people in the dust.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like I could see your mom, somebody's not agreeing with her or something, and she's like, you can go away now. Like I don't.
Oh, I wish. No, she would just start beating
the.
the shit out of them. That's the thing. There's no disagreeing.
Okay, so she doesn't even
no
allow that.
No, there's
so there's
no
yes.
disagreeing.
So that's the extremes. You could either be that person that's like, I'm not even gonna allow someone to disagree with me.
Yeah.
Period. Or if somebody disagrees, they're immediately the enemy.
Right. 100%.
And I've seen that. Like
that's what
either
it is.
they get like they're like, no. You are not going to disagree with me ever.
Yeah,
period.
100%.
Or they're like, I hear the common term like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm good. You're done. I'm done. Like there's no talking about it. There's no discussing it. There's no, and parents even doing it with their children.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
business
my mom would be like,
relationships,
oh, fine, I'll just fucking kill myself.
romantic
then.
relationships.
I'm like,
that too.
Nice.
The suicide threats.
It's crazy.
But the just like, okay, well then I'm done. Like that is it. We are, you don't agree with me. So therefore there is nothing further to discuss.
Right. Exactly. Which is very weird behavior, guys. Like I understand, like, you know, I have this opinion. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like I have this opinion. You have this opinion. And there's still several things that we don't like 100% align on, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it and see each other's perspectives.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that you hearing the way that I experience life and interact with things, I'm sure that has changed your view slightly. And me interacting with you and like, you know, seeing how life really is and stuff. I'm sure that has changed my view slightly.
Yeah.
Because that's the freaking point, guys. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
the point. Like
You're
communicating.
Like at the end of the day, perspective is truth, right?
Yeah.
Like that's our truth. Our perspective is our truth.
Right.
But limiting yourself to only your perspective and your truth
right.
is going to limit your experience here on earth.
Right. 100%.
Like there's no way that only your perspective and only your truth
Right.
is the only thing that matters,
Right.
and F everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of narcissism, where you could literally care less what anybody, and again, that's not saying that you can't be confident
Right.
and strong in your beliefs and strong with your
Right.
feelings. 100%.
Exactly. And I also think
100%.
that's not to say that you can't be bitter with someone. That doesn't mean you can't be
yeah.
mad at someone. You can definitely have that attitude. These people screwed me over, so F them. Like, I don't want anything to do with them. Like, that's
Right.
That's gross. They're disgusting. No, as long as you're not like...
I'm going to destroy them with every being of my
exactly.
soul.
That's
and make it a
weird. Like-
goal to literally destroy them until they can no longer function,
Right.
and or their demise is all that matters to me right now.
Right.
Like
And
that is
a lot, guys. That's a lot. So let's not do that.
it's demonic. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
I was waiting. I was like, we've gone this far. Like what? We've been 30
NPD
minutes
is
in.
another word for demonic. Okay.
Well-
it just actually just stands for demonic. Okay,
Right.
bye.
Right. It's this person's demonic.
No,
That's
they're
what
just
it
demonic.
stands for.
I don't. All about telling this. It's just they're actually demonic. So I mean, that's the new diagnosis is you're demonic. So
according to Heather. I think you can still have just NPG, but Listen, like I said, we all think different. Like, I think you're just regular messed up, and
You're like, I think you're just mentally ill, and I'm like, yeah, demonic.
And Heather knows that you're a demon. Okay, it's not even thinks. It's
just know.
Full conviction.
Yeah,
full conviction.
I see it in your eyes.
She sees it into your soul. Actually,
I actually see into people's souls.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that demonic? I should.
No, I was about to say, which arguably
I take that back, and I'm just kidding. It's called
She's like,
discernment. I don't see
the regular godly amount. No,
I see the allotted amount that is allowed to not be demonic.
I see all this much. I see what the Lord allows me to see. Actually, you know what? In that case, why am I wearing glasses? Why don't I just pray my vision?
Pray your vision.
Pray my vision
restored.
better. I'm not going to thank God for the glasses.
Right.
I should just pray that I have better vision. Sorry.
So, hey guys, we're excited to announce that we're partnering up with Tasty Gains. They have pre-workout and creatine gummies, which makes it super convenient to get it in a tasty, easy dose. So they are going to be coming out with a woman's line. So stay tuned for that and check them out at tastygains.com.
Over a century ago in 1910, the Flexner Report, funded by John D. Rockefeller and the Carnegie Foundation, re-engineered medical education from a holistic, whole-body approach, which appropriately treated the body as an interconnected system, to a compartmentalized approach under the guise of specialized medicine. They shut down or consolidated medical schools, marginalized naturopathic, homeopathic, and chiropractic medicine, replacing them with symptom management and synthetic drugs. Allopathy is a marketing strategy rooted in fear and manipulated science. This philosophy carried into veterinary medicine, resulting in over-vaccination, unnecessary surgeries, and manufactured food, just like they did for people. They call it care, but it's predatory and based in profitability. The truth? Toxicity, compromised immunity, and chronic inflammation. They're not fate. They're engineered. And so is your power to undo them. We built 3 targeted formulas to return the body to homeostasis, for pets and people, to detox, defend, and restore. We are the correction to decades of corruption. We are vengeance.
So speaking of,
Yeah. I thought that was
as
a
we
good
were
transition.
talking about, there's a lot of, Tessa brought to my attention that there is a lot of common not similarities to Christianity, but a lot of narcissists that weaponize Christianity to their, and again, I feel like it's those extremes where you either weaponize Christianity or are like, nah, there is no God because I am.
Yeah.
So I think that there's, again, it has to be the extreme on both ends.
Right.
So they either weaponize Christianity to get forgiveness for all the awful things they're doing.
Right.
Or they're like, no, what do you mean there is no higher power? I am the higher power.
Right. Exactly. And the thing with that I think about quite often when humans put themselves in like positions of like, I'm the highest power, like I am this, I am that, like every time I always think like, okay, then go swim with some sharks, no protection.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, go fight a bear for real.
Right.
Hands
only.
You know, like I'm not even that like
trained like a wild.
Not even that. Actually, like literally just like 4 dogs, like 4 and chihuahuas at that. Like I don't even know that you could do that. Like that's the thing. No, I don't want to say that because I don't want people to hurt chihuahuas just to prove that they can.
Or go do these things. We're actually not telling.
I'm not telling you to go fight
that.
a bear. I'm just saying, if you were God, you'd live through
no
it.
Responsibility on the things people do, and if you are dumb enough to do something stupid to prove a point.
Right. If you want to prove that you're God, I really hope that you meet him. You know?
You probably won't at that point because
like
you probably ain't going to meet him. You're probably going somewhere else. But
oh yeah, I forgot that. You know, I slightly don't believe in hell. Can I say that?
A lot of people struggle. Hold on. That's a good point because a lot of people struggle with that because they're like, there's no way. You know, we talked about like children that don't know how to walk in faith yet, or other countries that don't know certain things. And it's like, there are exceptions.
Yeah.
There are exceptions.
Yeah, I think hell is just here. I think
this is hell.
Well, I have a theory. Ghosts, right?
And I don't believe in ghosts. Ghosts are demons.
Unless, well, yeah, ghosts. Well, I don't.
Okay.
I think that demons. Okay, angels and demons already existed pre
Yeah.
us. I don't think people can turn into demons or angels.
No.
But
right.
I
Like,
think
that's
that-
what people think ghosts are, though.
Well, I think ghosts are the souls that were left in hell because I think hell is here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
But wouldn't that so
it's-
would that be? I don't know. Some say that still might be a demon. Do you turn into a demon?
no, and you can't turn into an angel either.
So you think that those are the souls that they're in hell?
Yeah.
Those are the souls that didn't go to heaven.
Yeah.
So they're stuck here in this shit show.
Yeah.
Of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Because hell
Imagine
is the separation
being
from
stuck here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fuck.
That's what I'm like. People think that hell is like, you know,
the pits of the
in
earth.
the pits of the
Yeah.
earth. I'm like, but when I think of
So
something
then
that would
you
be
don't
hell
think
for
that hell
me,
doesn't exist. You think that just
well,
hell is
I just
not
think
the
that this
depiction
is hell.
Right.
I
so
think
that's-
I think that this is the bad
and
place.
then you, instead of going to heaven in pure bliss, you're stuck here.
Yeah, so you just get stayed right where you are, because I think hell is watching every single person you ever loved slowly die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's watching, like, if you're a bad person, like seeing all the people that you tried to like take down be successful, like all of
Right.
that, like, and also God not being there to help you with your emotions as opposed to just turning off your emotions.
Just
you know?
eternal.
Just eternal sorrow and torment. Well, yeah, especially because, like, you know, like, you can't do anything. Like, you can't experience play. You can't feel anything. Like, you can't experience pleasure. You're just
Right.
empty and hollow and just floating around. I don't know if ghosts float, but just
Right.
existing.
Just existing.
Yeah, because I also do think that, like, our souls have to go somewhere, and, like, you know, I think that there's, like, what we're calling, like, interdimensional stuff is, like, actually the veil, and so beyond the veil is heaven, obviously. And so,
Well, some might say too, like, you know how you're saying that let's say not evil, just people that didn't go to heaven, their souls are stuck here in what some may call hell. You know how people say, like, I feel bad energy. I feel like a bad energy in the room. Maybe that's that energy.
right.
Like, and again, as far as energy goes, as Christians, we're not supposed to believe in, like, that type of energy, like crystals and all that shit.
Well,
But
it's not that you're not supposed to believe in it, because those things are real.
you're not
Like,
supposed to
witchcraft
idolize
is
it.
real.
And, like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh no, 100%.
Like, all of that stuff is very real, and they are powerful beings, and that's why you shouldn't mess with that, because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and they say not even to mess with Ouija boards. Like,
Oh, I don't. That's not something I've played with tarot cards, and I know that's like a thing, but, like, intention is everything. But Ouija boards, I definitely feel like are, like, literally a portal,
Right.
for whom or whatever is around you in that moment. And I believe spiritual warfare, and when you are trying to live with God, demons are constantly trying to attack you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do a Ouija board because the devil.
anything Ouija, anything that you're summoning, anything like.
Which it's made by Hasbro.
I know, just don't. But that's what I'm saying. People are gonna go.
That's crazy.
It's a cardboard thing with a and it's
Yeah.
like the intention. It's not the stupid cardboard that has
No, the
demonic
cardboard doesn't have powers.
It's not the little thing that you put on it that.
Although it might, because
magnify-
what is
I know,
cardboard?
Right.
what is cardboard,
It's
guys?
the
Like,
intention. I remember me and my friends once did that. What was that movie?
The Craft.
The Craft.
Light as a feather, stiff as a
Yeah.
board. I tried.
rebuke.
It never worked.
I rebuke, but it never worked.
It never worked.
But
I'm
it's like,
like-
you're repeating things over and over
Yeah.
again and chanting, and it's like that's summoning shit that
Yeah.
is just all bad.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to open that up, and maybe we weren't powerful enough. We're little girls
Right.
that don't know what the hell we're doing. But if
Right.
somebody's actually like into that and trying to do stuff,
Right.
which I rebuke in the name of Jesus, any and all. Witchcraft, dark energy, and any and all hexes that may be trying to be put upon either of us,
LOL.
I rebuke. And
Yeah.
any that have been, I rebuke. And I say that strongly
I know,
with my
you're
soul.
so serious.
I am so serious.
She's fully rebuking, guys.
I rebuke
She's rebuking so hard right now. You have
anything in
no
this
idea.
house that may or may not hold any of that.
Yeah,
I rebuke.
totally. And then some people might say, well, then how was Jesus walking on water? And I just think that the Lord's allowed to use his powers, guys.
The Lord can do what he wants.
Like, come on. If you could walk on water, you know you'd do it. But you also shouldn't have to summon the power of the devil to do that. So that's like the thing.
I mean,
that's like the thing. Don't do that.
dun, dun, dun.
You know, but if you are praying and all of a sudden you're walking on water, who am I?
Who am I to judge?
Who am I? I will personally be stepping a little bit away from that. But
I will personally just watch from afar.
I'll watch from afar and you let me know how it goes. Because whenever Peter got out of the boat, was it Peter? Yeah, of course it was Peter. It's always freaking Peter.
I feel like it's always Peter,
No,
David.
always be doing
Is there
things.
anybody else?
No, Peter was just such a rascal. Wait, was it Peter? Yeah, he was the one who's like, oh, well then, Lord, you've been really kind. Let me step on the water with you. And he's like, okay, come on. And then he steps on the water. He's like, oh my God, I'm on the water. And then he starts sinking. And God's like, yeah, because you're not paying attention. He's like, you asked for this. You literally asked for this.
You're
I gave it
like,
to you. You're freaking
you're
out.
a narcissist.
So obviously you can't handle it.
Right.
So no, you're not allowed to walk on water because you wouldn't be able to handle it. I think God doesn't let us walk on water because we would monetize it.
Right. We'd somehow fuck it up
No, we would.
or mess it up.
You only did one cuss word this whole time
I've
so far.
fallen
so.
off the wagon, but we'd somehow ruin it and make it bad and evil and like turn it into something
Right.
that is no longer good.
Right. We'd start having
Or
like
powerful.
water races. People would literally run around the world. These runners, these crazy runners, they'd be like, I'm going to run across the entire world.
Humans have a tendency to
Forrest
just ruin
Gump
things.
it.
Just
Forrest
ruin
Gump it
things.
everywhere. Yeah.
Forrest
I mean,
Just forest it.
some might say that we are a virus.
That I could see that.
We do seem like an Earth virus. Definitely. If I was the Earth and all these people
We are destroying it
were
single-handedly.
yeah. Well, double-handedly.
Double-handedly. It is with the help of the government.
It is also with the help of the government.
But those are humans. The government is human.
Exactly.
I mean,
Are
some may
they?
say they're not.
Well, some people are like, didn't you see that thing that said that, what's its place? There's a place, that introduced an AI, like, governor or something like that. Not a state.
gosh,
it's not a
I didn't
state.
know
It's not a
that.
state in
No,
America.
no.
It's a country.
That's awful and terrifying.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, with the Christian or any religion, narcissists using it
Oh,
to
yeah.
their advantage. Like that was really interesting that you
100%.
sent me that because
Yeah.
I was like, wow, all the experiences I've had, they didn't.
Yeah.
There was one person that would say things like, oh, I hope to God and I'm praying, but they were not actively in any kind of
Right.
religion. And I don't think they ever really used it
Yeah.
to like their advantage. But a lot of the narcissists I knew, there's a couple I've seen that, quote a scripture
Yeah.
or, post a scripture or say something. What
Right.
meanwhile, they're literally that person that's like, you better call me back right now or else.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you're not with me, you're against me. And they're
Yeah.
like, I really truly want people's downfall.
Right.
It's like, you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, no, I.
Stop saying
Unfortunately,
Godspeed.
I
You're not a
have
Christian.
Unfortunately, I have been on the interworkings of a few churches,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
You'll see a
So
yeah.
what you'll see there,
Yes.
it's most of the time it's not someone who has any. If you don't have a position of power, then you're probably fine. Or if
Right.
you're not desiring, it's usually, a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
a deacon, like somebody that's just really involved, somebody that, likes to be the center of attention, stuff like that. Like I've experienced these very narcissistic men trying to lead congregations, and obviously things completely fall apart.
Yeah.
You're cheating on your wife.
You
You're
can tell
using
the
funds for
difference,
this and
yeah.
that. You can definitely tell the difference. Or a lot of these pastors of mega churches.
Oh,
A lot of these pastors
are
of mega churches.
absolutely
Actually, as a matter of
wild.
fact, I'm not afraid to call out specifically Joel Osteen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand that dude. I think that I will never get over it. The fact that when Houston flooded, he would not allow homeless people or people in need to come into his church because it was an insurance liability. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. When you're the only reason you have money at all is because you're quite literally exploiting God.
right.
You're quite literally exploiting God and people's
Yeah, some of those mega
belief in
churches.
God. No pastor should have multiple mega $1 million mansions and supercars and all of this stuff. Well, I get my money not from church. It doesn't matter where you got your money. It literally says in the Bible that pastors are supposed to be poor, and the church, the congregation, takes care of them, and you shouldn't have excess. But it's literally in the Bible. So like, that's the part, like, it really, really starts to get to me, because you've turned capitalism into a god. You've turned money and greed into a god, and you're not worshiping God. You're worshiping yourself.
Have you seen Gemstones?
That's exactly what Joel Osteen is like. I've only watched the first like 4 or 5 episodes, but I love that show.
Good. It's good.
Well, because I like Adam Devine. I love Adam Devine. He's so
good.
funny.
It's really good. But you know, there's that, and then like I said, for my experience, it was a lot of actually people that were like very anti-God, because like I said, they were like,
yeah,
and even some, there was maybe a few people that seemed, again, not all of them diagnosed, but just had those qualities that were actually kind of into like the dark shit. They're into Luciferian, Satanism, very like the gothic, the very dark, the witchcraft, the, you know, I wouldn't be surprised that their whole body's not covered in Halloween Horror Nights tattoos, and every serial killer and every true crime and every horror flick is like every tattoo that they have. So it's like, I'm not saying just because you're into Hot Topic and you're into horror movies that you're a narcissist either. Like I said, it's not, it's
because the dude hate me, guys. So it's not
right.
Like,
I'm saying the people that it's like, again, a little bit of like an obsession.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the extremists, but I do think the reason that a lot of narcissists tend to go specifically towards Christianity as their weapon is because one of the core principles and tenets of Christianity is forgiveness.
Right.
And forgiveness knowing that you're undeserving. Okay. So I will say that part right there, that's what got me, because my mom didn't go to church, but believe me, she used that against me.
Okay. Like, you need to forgive the gods.
Bible says, aren't you a Christian? Aren't you supposed to forgive? Isn't that your whole thing? Forgiveness.
Well, then they also say demons or people that do suffer from, I'm not even saying that to be funny, suffer from like those types of disorders will use your faith against you also, and they will then question your faith, like, well, then you're not a very good Christian, right? And it's like, you're not gonna tell me, right, first of all.
And I'll be the first to say, you're right. You're so
what
right.
Makes a good
I'm
Christian.
I'm actually not a good Christian at all. I'm like a terrible Christian, guys. Like I'm
exploiting, speaking of exploitation, Christianity too, to be like, well, this is why I'm doing XYZ, is also bizarre. Right. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of that in our country right now. Right. And I do believe that anything that brings somebody to Christ and anything that brings, you know, Christianity awareness and around to people being interested in it is a good thing. However, there is always a however. I think that if it's being exploited. Here's the thing. I think that may confuse new Christians been like to think problem. That that's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly. And that's what I think the problem. And that's why, like, I know that people do say, like what you just said, like anything that gets people aware of God is like a good thing. But I absolutely...
At face value.
Yeah, but I disagree. Because anything that now people are thinking, oh, this is what God is like. And I really think that that's like damaging, because we do need to be careful about the words that we're using and what we're saying and like all of the stuff. And we should be good shepherds of the Lord. And really, so when people are out here doing the exploitation thing, like just because people are hearing of God, if anything, it's turning people away.
Yeah. Well, I think that if somebody has the true encounter, it won't do that to them. Right. So the hope is that he truly encounters people in their hearts. But like you said, if it's just somebody that's confused and is just like, whoa, what is this? And like kind of, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
I do like that when people start to be like, okay, what's up with this God thing?
Right. Like it's still bringing them kind of like, okay, maybe I'm interested in this, but not because they're just looking at that part of it.
Right.
But I do think there can be damaging, toxic
Yeah.
parts of exploiting it to the point where
100%.
it's like nationally just
Right.
become like, I think there's a line that can be crossed. Where, like you said, it's going to confuse people to be like, well, is this how this is?
Right.
And they don't have an encounter and they don't really meet Jesus and they don't really find that thing on their own. You know what I mean? It's like, where's the line drawn? Like we said, between government and God, and between.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think government and God should have anything to do with each other at all. Like I genuinely do not believe that, because government is government and God is God, and those are different things.
Right.
Like, because oftentimes government goes against what God is, and God is, that's not, God is meant to be worshipped, he's not to control us. A government is like taking away our free will, and that's directly
the opposite of God. And I mean, some might say, well, that's true what you're saying, because I know in our church, he says all the time, government doesn't belong in our church, so why should it go the opposite way?
Right.
Like, those are two separate things. Like, he's like, politics do not belong in the church, the gospel belongs in the church. That is it. Period.
Yeah, because somebody can be an incredible leader, an incredible person, like, and they're Muslim, and they can be a perfect human being, like, in terms of like treating people well and being like interested in fairness and all of this stuff, and they can be Buddhist or Jewish or anything like that. So that's why I think that I genuinely believe that
there needs to be a separation between church and
government. And I don't even mean like just like church. I literally mean like we shouldn't have "in God we trust" on our coins. We shouldn't have that, because what money has turned into
is not godly
exactly
at all.
That's what I mean. And so that's why we have to take religion out of it, because you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. That was
money is evil.
Exactly. And the love of money is the root of all evil. That is true. And so it's just like one of those things that, like, when you keep it separated, that's when people can no longer use this to exploit. So you can't be like, well, you're doing this, this, and this, and the Bible says no. If I'm sleeping with a woman and having a bunch of consensual crazy sex, that doesn't matter. If I'm not harming anyone and I'm not harming myself, that doesn't matter. And so your opinion on that doesn't mean anything. Then you follow your things, right?
Right.
So that's why I think it should be separated. Now, would I want godly people involved in government? Absolutely.
Right. But the exploitation of it in order to excuse and or permit certain things is different. Do you want values and godliness and those people in power that aren't going to use that for actual decision making and running of the government and the country? That is different. That is different. That's not what we're talking about. Of course that's what we want, but we don't want the exploitation of it, because that's kind of defeating the purpose. And we've talked about this before. Like, I'm very passionate about this. Like, I feel like it's so weird that King James had his own translation of the Bible, and that's the one that got brought to America. And then in 1942 was the first time that homosexuality was ever mentioned in the Bible, which is insane, because that was not even 100 years ago. That's weird. These things are weird. Okay? I'm not saying anything else about it, but that's weird to know. Okay, guys? So when they started, doing the Constitution and all of that stuff, all of those men were Christian men. Okay? So our Constitution was based on values that Christian men had. Yes, absolutely. However, if you read those values, they're pretty universal, and they're not, God said this, so that's why we do this. They're not that. They're not the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments is a very different list of rules. So that's what I mean by, like, I want people who have faith in something, in goodness, I want them to be involved in government, but I don't care. Good values.
Right. I don't care if you're worshiping
anybody
Jesus.
in the government doesn't have good intentions.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just like, and I also, but in that same breath, I also believe that any politician should be making the same minimum wage as anyone in their state. The minimum wage of their state. That's what politicians should make.
I I can't. It makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah. All of them.
They're all like that. Like there's anybody who trusts and or believes anyone in political power, and I mean anyone.
Yeah, literally anyone.
You need to get mentally evaluated.
Yeah, because you can't trust these people anymore.
Never.
Unfortunately.
Not even a little bit. Don't care what side you're on. Don't care what side they're on.
You can't trust the internet. Talk to your neighbors. Guys, talk to the people around you. See what's really going on. Okay.
Right.
Talk. If you have friends that often travel to other countries, speak to them. Please, for the love of God, speak to them so that you can know what's going on outside of here. And
because you don't know.
You have
unless
no
you've
idea.
Gone.
No, genuinely, our media is so heavily censored, being so honest at this point, that in order to find out things that are going on outside of the United States, like you literally basically have to have a freaking VPN.
Did you see the new TikTok thing?
No.
Oh my God.
Is it?
Conservative Aunt posted it, and Carol was like, "We are going to be retraining the algorithm on TikTok, and everybody, even conservatives, because right now it is a lot of conservative content is censored, but like a lot of liberal content is pushed. Actually, it's very weird because they allow all this sexual stuff, but then you can't post like an American flag. Like it's just weird. But anyways, they said we're going to be retraining and left it kind of vague, and everybody on both sides are like, no.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well,
retraining.
It's just that the government made a deal with TikTok, and now the government gets to control how the media is.
Right. And
shown.
That's all bad.
Yeah, that's
there
horrendous.
goes.
The government shouldn't be in control of that at all.
So everyone's like, no, even though I think they're already involved, but
Right.
I think now it's open and it's like, okay, no,
Right.
we're doing this. We're doing this.
Right.
And I'm like, holy shit.
And that's the thing, because also Facebook and Instagram are affected by this as well. They're both in part of that deal. And this is the only reason why it's a good thing that Elon bought Twitter, because while there are horrendous things on there, there's also the truth on there.
Right.
They're not censoring it like that.
They'll get to it. I think it'll eventually happen.
Well,
Or it's happened to
he
some
doesn't
extent.
need the money.
No, I don't think it's a money thing. I don't think it's a money
I
thing.
do for Elon. I think it's all a money thing. Like this whole thing is a
there's
money
a power
game for
thing
him.
somewhere.
Well,
in there.
yeah, because
once
he has
you
all
have
that.
the money, now there's a power.
Exactly.
struggle.
So why would he give up the one place that he has all the power? So that's what I mean.
Unless he's promised more power, which more power is out there.
In what way? Like the
I don't know.
presidency?
No. People make deals.
What's more powerful than a social media platform that is not censored by the government?
I don't believe that it's not. I just believe that it's done right and very, very meticulously. I don't believe there's zero censorship. There's no way. Even though they're letting things fly and there's all sorts of shit on there, there's got to be something.
I'm just saying.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I don't have X. Did they allow, like, a lot of people's videos were getting taken down of like the shooting. Do they allow that on like that? Nobody gets taken down, nothing, no matter what you put.
I've seen disgusting stuff on there.
No,
I've seen beheadings. I've seen shootings.
Does it ever get taken down? Does it ever get flagged? Can you report stuff on?
Well, yeah, you can report stuff.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like, can you even report anything? Or it's like, nope, no holds bar. You don't like it, don't look.
Yeah, you can report it, but
okay.
it's mostly you don't like it, don't look. But
Right.
you can report things. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you think someone getting murdered, then obviously you should be reporting that.
Right. But it is an option. I thought there was like it. There's nothing you can do about it.
But it's more so you can just turn your page to where you don't see that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, like that's the thing about it. Like while I don't think it's appropriate, like I don't.
Right.
It's in order to have the goodest, the best, you also have to allow the worst.
Yeah.
Because then there's no freedom if you're doing one, and because then you're determining what's good and what's bad.
and that's why again I use my freedom to not be on X.
Yeah.
Nobody's making me.
Yeah.
Like if people have a problem with, like, I don't go on it.
Right.
I don't even have one. So it's like,
Yeah.
you could also choose to not have one if you don't want to, like, be exposed to that stuff.
Right.
And if you're just like,
but then
okay,
also
you
can choose not to have an X, but then every single other social media platform is controlled by the government. So now what?
Yeah. It's like forcing people to
to go to that. Right. So that's what I mean is like when that starts happening and they really do the takeover and they start censoring all of the content on TikTok, on Instagram, and everything's just to push like one certain agenda, which we like, it's very obvious what's going on now. That's when everyone's going to surge to X. And that's when I think it would be very difficult. They would have to kill Elon Musk.
Don't say that.
I'm being so for real. If he kills himself, if he gets it, you know, while I think he's directly involved, I think the reason he's at the top of this is because he has all that power. And because he got all that power faster than anyone ever in history.
Right.
Like, he skyrocketed to trillionaire status so fast. That's why I think he's the one that did the time traveling.
It was Elon.
And he's never going to give up that power.
Never.
That's what I mean. Like it would be very difficult to get that man to give up his power.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I know.
For what? The greater good? No, he doesn't care about that. He cares about
power.
The power and the control, and the only way that he can have any control is he lets everyone under him be out of control.
Correct.
So
is not having control of anything.
Right. Just like a space for uncontrolled things to be.
Right.
And that is a huge power, especially because like
that's the only place.
Yeah, because once you start determining what's right and what's wrong, that's when we start to have a problem, because like obviously there are some things that we all collectively agree is wrong, like harming innocent
children,
animals, elderly. Like we all agree that that's fucked up and you shouldn't do it. But like other than that, like as long as it's consensual, and as long as it's, you know, even if you are harming someone, if you're harming them at their own consent, then who am I to determine that that's bad or wrong?
See, and I want nothing to do with that. And that's where we disagree. I think that's wrong. And I think that again, that's why I don't have it. But nobody's like, you have to have X. Like, even if they start censoring, then I just won't have social media.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, well, now I have to have X because they're doing this, this, and this. I just simply won't have anything, and I won't be forced into exposing myself to that stuff.
Yeah.
I just won't. And again, not judgment to a lot of people have X. There's plenty of Christians that have X. There's plenty, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying you're bad because you have X. And like you said, there are restrictions you can put, and there are things you don't have to look at.
Yeah, mine's
things.
not that bad. The entire
a lot of people use it for
the
news.
Entire situation, the entire shooting, everything like that, I never saw one video.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
I would have to actually search for it, but that's the thing. Like, you can search for it.
You can. It's there.
It's there.
So I just choose not to, and I don't think you're bad if you do, and you're not bad if you don't. Like, I just personally choose not to.
Right.
But because I don't want to have that access. I don't want to have, it's not that I don't trust myself, but I don't want to accidentally stumble upon something. Like, just why?
Yeah.
I don't even like being on Instagram sometimes.
Right. Yeah, Instagram be getting I don't see violence on any of my stuff. I just can't handle it. But
not like, I mean, the shooting was there was violence, and there are times videos slip through, and sometimes they get reported or removed, but like, I wouldn't say there's like behead. I'm sure there is somewhere, and it just takes
X.
a second to get no on Instagram. Even I'm sure. I mean, people have said like, oh, I saw something crazy, but it got taken down pretty quick. But like, you know, I'm sure you could still stumble across it, but it's not as common. To have that happen. I mean, even if you have like a bloody wound, a lot of times they blur it out, or they eventually take it down or flag it.
Yeah, my thing. Yeah, I'm not so much concerned about like, oh, have it or don't. I'm just concerned about how are we supposed to communicate with one another without government interference.
Oh, that I don't believe there. See, I know you think X. I still don't believe that there's anything out there in the world that doesn't have some kind of interference.
Yeah, but they can watch us, but they can't stop us. That's the thing. Like, you're watching us do something, but the government shouldn't be able to take down someone's page because they don't agree with what they're saying.
I
that's what I mean, and that's what's happening. That's the direction they're moving in.
I think it's been happening, and now it's just out there.
Well, I mean, no. The laws are now being passed. Like, that's the difference. Like, it's been, people have been wanting to do this, but now
it's in other countries for sure.
Now, well, I mean, I don't live in other countries. So,
no, but I know. I just know that it's already been implemented, and they always say whatever's implemented elsewhere will eventually find its way, because we have to fall in line. But I know, you know, that viral video everywhere that somebody posted about like Israel, they posted something on what their version of like TikTok was, and straight up cops showed up to their door.
Yeah.
Not FBI, but like just regular cops. They're like, we're
Yeah.
taking you to jail. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, which
That's
is crazy.
Crazy.
And you can't,
there was no threats being made. I mean,
Right.
I do think that if you're saying I'm going to go kill this person,
right, then obviously
maybe
someone should show up at your house. Like, yeah. But no, I do definitely think like all of that stuff, especially the Israel stuff right now, like anybody that's saying anything negative is being
monitored.
Heavily monitored and
do you think
detained and their platform taken away. Like,
do you think that eventually here, if somebody posts something that like, let's just say they're like, I dislike our president, nothing violent.
Yeah.
Do you think that there will be a point eventually where people can start having legal repercussions for what they say online?
Absolutely. That's what I think is happening. Like, that's genuinely what I think is happening right now. I think that like with the way things are, like, it's just the way things are moving, the way censorship is being handled, the way that like the Bible is being false prophesized, all of that is definitely leading to censorship. And that's what I'm talking about when we saw like what happened with Jimmy Kimmel, like that they didn't take Jimmy Kimmel down because they disagreed with what he said. They took him down because the president said, take him down.
I think, and he was put back, right?
Almost immediately. Yeah, and that's what.
Do we think that was just an example being made?
Well, I think
like that was making an example.
I think they weren't expecting people to cancel Disney memberships. I think they overestimated Disney adults' love for Disney, and they didn't assume that they loved freedom of speech more. You know? And so what I think happened is when they took him down, they boycotted and they lost, what was it, projected like $3-point-something billion in revenue.
But again, like we said, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. So I'm not even referring to the Jimmy Kimmel thing, but like if you work somewhere and you say something that they feel is against policy,
right,
you can still be fired.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. So it's like,
well, you can be fired in states that have the law that you can be fired for no reason. You can't be fired.
Well, if your policy specifically says, and that's the thing.
No, that's what I said. Only certain states have the right to fire.
Yeah, it's
certain
at-will
states do
employment.
not.
California is one of them.
So
I believe Florida is one of them. Is you're an at-will employer. However, I'm talking about specific clauses. Like if his contract says, if you, specifically state this, this, and this,
right,
and that's where it gets really messy,
right?
Because public figures like that, sometimes that could be subjective. So if it says, if you comment on the death of somebody, and it's like, well, he could say, well, I didn't say this, and that. It's like, then it gets really gray and subjective onto whose opinion is the right opinion.
Right.
So I think,
but that's the
right,
thing.
wrong,
Opinion
or
is
indifferent.
Opinion. Yeah.
I think right, wrong, or indifferent, that was used as to make an example out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think that, again, like I said, right, wrong, or indifferent, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, not saying, I'm saying that I think that specifically that was used.
But what was the example?
To say, if you're going to have repercussions
if you're going to say about.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's crazy. Like, especially,
I mean, there was people getting fired all over the place.
I mean, specifically that incident, because I watched it. I saw it. He didn't say anything crazy.
And there was people saying things like, haha, glad he's dead. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying is
he didn't say that.
The government just revealed their hand that they can do that.
Yes.
And that pissed everybody off. That's what I'm because there's not a law that said, like, nothing he said was egregious. Nothing that he said was literally, he said, I think it's weird that when they asked Donald Trump about the shooting, that he immediately started talking about the ballroom that's getting built. He said, I think that was weird.
Right.
And he got taken down for that. That's insane. That's not something that should
He didn't say, I'm glad the bullet.
No.
Or he,
No, he didn't say. He literally, the only thing he said about Charlie Kirk was, when Donald Trump was asked in an interview about what happened to Charlie Kirk, that's the only thing he said. He didn't say anything about the shooting. He did nothing. He just said, kind of weird that he was talking about the ballroom.
And even if you are, look, like I said, I don't necessarily agree, disagree, and I don't even like Jimmy Kimmel. But if you say something insensitive that is not illegal to say something insensitive.
Yeah.
If somebody felt, well, that was insensitive, you know what I mean? Like, that was insensitive. Maybe he shouldn't have said it like that. He still didn't say anything like, well, I'm glad that happened. And I wish that would have happened for a long time. And he deserved it. And like, you know what I mean? Like, those things might be, that's inciting violence. That's condoning violence. That is different.
Yeah. Like, you can't do hate speech.
Right.
If you're a public figure
and you can't
want
condone
to keep your
violence.
Endorsements. Right.
Condoning violence as a public figure is not going to be a good look for you, because now people will think that you are for that.
100%. And that's not what happened.
Right.
And so I think that's the part everybody got all up in arms about. Well, I mean, you can't say this or you can't say that without expect. But that's not the thing. He didn't say anything crazy.
Right.
It's just that he mentioned Donald Trump's name and he has a big platform. So that is just, scary.
Yeah.
Because that's
a lot of things are scary right now, and I think more people should be scared. No,
you should.
I hate the word scared, but
people should be able to say
and aware.
Literally, words are just words. That's the thing. Like, threatening, you shouldn't be able to threaten people.
Yeah, inciting violence.
But even you should even be able to say, like, oh, I'm happy that person isn't alive anymore. That's totally fine. You can think that. You shouldn't be like imprisoned or anything for having that thought, because there are so many people. Again, perspective is truth. Everybody has their own opinions and everybody has their own viewpoints. Some people might see something as one thing as another thing, but talking about it and expressing how you feel, I think that when the government starts to get involved and like
the government, yes, but people losing their jobs, that's up to the employer. I think that if you're saying that, the employer can look at that and say, so you're okay with something like that happening, and that makes me feel worried about your intentions in any situation now.
Right.
So that is different, but the government,
but that's not what happened.
Stepping in,
right?
Yeah,
and that's not what happened. The company didn't say, "Oh, we want no."
Right.
The president said, "Take him down," and the people were like, "Okay, we'll do that." That isn't okay. Like if I go out and I start saying like a whole bunch of racist things around my boss, and my boss is like, "Hey, you don't represent
you're not representing our company very well.
I don't like that.
We can't do
That's
that."
my boss's call.
Yes,
That's great.
yes.
The second that it was the president that said that makes it not okay.
Right.
The president doesn't have the power to just tell people you can't say that. What I say is what I say.
There are a ton of conservatives that I do feel are not okay with certain things that are going on. No matter what side you're on, you should always be aware and questioning things that anybody in power, even the president.
Exactly. I'm not on a side.
You're not even on a side. Yeah, like I proved it with a test. Okay,
I proved it was a test that I'm not on a side,
which I forgot to take, and I know I said that I was going to do my results, but I will take it. But so yeah, I think there's a lot of narcissists in politics also.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole thing, like all of it goes back to narcissism, and like I understand, like from the viewpoint of somebody that definitely came from reality TV. You know what I mean? I definitely understand that, like, the presidency feels like you're a king. That it does.
And for the record, I didn't say.
Oh no, I don't think you disagree with me.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just
going
in.
I didn't say the president. I just said.
No, I did.
There's a lot of narcissists.
It makes you feel like you're a king because you have all of that power. However, we are only here because we fled from a king.
Right.
So we should remember that one.
I think everybody should be aware. I think people should question.
Yeah.
Everything.
100%. I think that people should question everything right now. I think that now is the perfect time to be like, wait a minute.
Everything.
Yeah. Because I'm scared of Handmaid's Tale. I'm being so real. I'm scared of that.
All of it is just.
Yeah.
I think we all need to unify.
Exactly.
Because what do they want? They want separation, and that is how the government will
how you
control
can
us all. Is separation, confusion, chaos, anarchy, and just madness. And if we were all to unify, we would be more powerful.
Exactly.
Than them.
Just like they brought Jimmy Kimmel back after we all boycotted Disney. It doesn't have to be a boycott. It doesn't have to be this, that. Literally, do you guys know that if everyone chose not to go to work for one day, it would dismantle the government? Just one day.
Well, I mean, the government shut down right now, so there's that.
The government can't even
stay open.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, that's been on both. And again, the whole sides thing. But there's people that boycotted. I think it was like Bud. I don't know, some beer company that had some like trans.
Oh, Budweiser.
Yeah, and
Bud Light.
It worked.
Bud Light.
So yes, it does. I do think that
Sorry.
there are
Let's
times.
not discriminate Budweiser. It was Bud Light.
Yeah. There are times that, you know, people's speech and people, you know, it works again without inciting violence and inciting pure chaos, but just exercising your right to not use a product based on what you feel is great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That is freedom.
Ban General Mills. Sorry. They own everything.
Ban, I don't remember what company, Johnson & Johnson, dude.
Oh, actually ban literally BlackRock.
Right.
Ban
Johnson
ban
is like,
actually I
we
hate
admit
to
to
say
causing
this, but
cancer
Walmart.
with every single one of our products.
Ban the new Walmarts. Either resurrect Walton, resurrect the founder, or ban it, because I don't know if you know his grandkids are running this into the ground.
Walmart?
Yeah, he was a great guy allegedly. And then
allegedly,
and
we
then,
always have to say allegedly.
Well, yeah, because you don't know, because like a great guy back in the early 20s still beat their wife, so it's like we had to raise the standard a little bit. Sorry, you can no longer beat your wife and be a great guy.
No,
you have
you
to
can't.
not beat your wife.
You cannot.
The bar hasn't been risen,
And the wife can't beat their husband either.
Yeah, no.
Let's not beat each other.
Yeah, beating each other is not, unless you're into it. And it's
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna be like, unless though.
Unless it's consensual.
And by the way, after that statement, anybody has something to fucking say, come talk to me, because I'd love to talk to you. I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
You heard her.
Nobody experiences or condones wife beating over here.
Yeah.
So let's just make that clear. Not one person.
Exactly. I would never beat my wife.
I mean,
I don't think.
again, I think you'd be.
Well, depends.
Probably
Can she listen? No,
consensual.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It depends. Does she listen or not? No,
Oh my gosh! Everybody's like, "Oh my god, yeah, she's gonna beat a wife, you hypocrites!"
Yeah. I am a hypocrite for whatever that Harry Potter thing is.
I really can't stand half of these fucking idiots that say shit. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, I feel like that's just a wrap up. So now you guys know actually what a narcissist is, and just, you know, some ways that they might
go
be
ahead
able
and
to
try to see. You know, some people might be like, "Holy shit, that's
approach
me."
you. And we're not saying that the
They're like,
president is a
"That's me."
narcissist. No, literally, I'm not joking. This is just like a little snippet. I had somebody look up this before.
Yeah,
The person, and he was like, "Wait a second,
that's me. Yeah,
it's like, is this play about us?" Like,
right, right. You're like, yeah.
But yeah, so now you know what a narcissist is. And if you're thinking, hey, I might be a narcissist, I know a lot of times people say, well, you know, you're not a narcissist because narcissists don't think about the fact they're a narcissist. Still go check, okay? Still go to a therapist. If you read this and you go, I might be a narcissist, it doesn't.
The world would be a better place.
Yeah, that excuse of a narcissist wouldn't think about the fact they're a narcissist.
They might, and
if
they still will
see
probably
the signs and symptoms, they might start thinking that. So,
and they'll still probably be like, yeah, but that's okay for me. I'm allowed to be one.
Well, I also had a lot of narcissistic tendencies because my mother is a narcissist. And so I grew up learning how to manipulate people. Yeah. And so I had to work really hard not to do those things, guys. Yeah. So just, you know,
do you
very easy for me to be mean.
Self-awareness,
It was hard for me to learn niceness. So.
Self-reflect, self-awareness. Yeah. And like we always say, find God and handle yourself.
Yeah. And you're demonic.
And you're demonic if you don't.
Some of you, not all of you.
Most. I rebuke.
I would say at least specifically 1/3.
I rebuke in the name of Jesus.
Just like the Bible says. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us, say things. Share. If you're a narcissist, comment.
If you're a narcissist,
like,
if you're a
narcissist and you're proud
or diagnosed narcissist, come on our show.
Comment. Yeah, I would love to have a conversation with like
a diagnosed
narcissist. I would love to do that. I genuinely, because I have questions, and I wouldn't want to just like demean you or like be mean to you.
No.
I genuinely have questions.
Yeah.
I'm a curiosity. I'm like a sponge up in here. I want to know so much. So yeah, if you're a diagnosed narcissist, comment, and we'll try to get you on.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah.
Same.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Get out of here. Why are you still here? We
I
literally
rebuke.
already said bye.
I rebuke.